So in this video, I am going to talk about the time module and how to use the few of the functionalities of the time modules. So hey guys, this is Vishwajit and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So let's start with the video. I have turned on my Jupyter notebook, and if you have not, I do recommend turn on your IDs. You can use Visual Studio Code, you can use PyCharm, but I will recommend you to use Jupyter notebook, but anything is fine. So first I'll import time. So let's talk what is like the time in Python. So generally using the time module, we can find out the current time or a time in the future or a time in the past. And inside the time we have various functionalities like sleep to stop executing a program for a few number of seconds. So I'll show you how we can do those things. So the first thing that I will show you is time.time functionality, and it is returning us a huge number. So what is this particular number? So this returns time.time returns the number of seconds that has been elapsed from the Unix epoch timestamp. Now, what is Unix epoch timestamp? So if I show you Unix epoch timestamp, it's a particular time. It's like from 1st Jan 1970, and I think it's from 12. Yeah. So this is the Unix epoch time. So it starts from 1st January 1970 at midnight. Okay, midnight 12. So this is the Unix epoch timestamp. So this returns how much time has been passed from the Unix epoch timestamp till current time. So today is 5th March, or I should say 5th 3 2023. So this is the current time. Okay, so this returns how much time has been passed since this particular date, the Unix epoch time, till the current time. Let me put the current time over here. Current time and date, I should say. Current date, time. Okay. And I will put the time as 12:40, maybe 44 or something like that. Okay. So this is in seconds, by the way. Fine. So the next thing that we can use the time.time functionality to calculate how much time our program takes to execute. Okay. So how we can do that? So for example, if we have a factorial program, maybe, so for I in range 1 to maybe 10, and let's find out the factorial. F star into I have to initialize F as 1, and I'll print F. Pretty simple, right? So instantly it gave us an output. Maybe let's put 20. Okay, so it gave us the output. Maybe let me give a little bit bigger number, maybe 100. Okay, so it is giving us an output instantly. But let's suppose if I remove this, if I give 50, okay, even this is also a huge number. Okay, let's calculate how much time is required for this particular program to run. Okay, so I'll give the start time as time.time, and I will give the end time. Maybe I'll give the end time over here, end time as time.time. Okay, now I'll print the end time minus the start time. and if I do shift and enter, so you can see this is the number of seconds that it took to execute, print, like to get calculate and print this particular output. Let's not print it, okay? Let's just calculate how much time it took. So for example, if I make this number a little bit bigger, maybe 500, so you can see it is taking 0.0099 seconds. Let me give a bigger number. Okay, now it is taking a little bit more time. If I give more bigger number, okay, now it took almost like a minute. I mean like a second. If I give a little bit more, and now see, now it is taking a lot of time to execute. Okay, so using like let's wait for it to complete the execution. So unfortunately that particular, I think I gave 5 lakhs in the previous execution. That was a huge number and it was taking a very long time, so I had to close my kernel and restart it again. So again, if I execute this, so it is taking almost a second to execute. So we can use time to calculate how much time it requires to execute a particular program in seconds. So this output is in seconds, right? So if I print it, like if I give a comma and I give seconds in brackets, so yep, you can see this is the number of seconds that it took to compute this particular program. Okay, so how I did it, very simple. So initially I calculated the start time, which is going to give us a huge number, okay, because the epoch time is 1st January 1970. So it's going to give us a huge number. Now if I print that, for example, if I print start time, and instead of just showing you, if I do start time equal to start time, and here I will print end time equal to end time, right? So as you can see, this start time we are getting a huge number, and the end time also we are getting a huge number, okay? But the difference of this, both the start time and end time, okay, that difference will tell us how much time, like how much time it took to execute this particular lines of code, right, to calculate the factorial of it. So using this time.time functionality, we can compute how much time a program requires to run. So let's suppose if I give a little bit higher number, maybe if I give 10 over here, and if I do shift and enter, so it started at around this particular time, it ended at around this particular time, and see the time, total time required to complete is 4 seconds, right? So 4 seconds that took this program to complete. So one thing that is like so one thing about this time.time functionality is that it does not return like in a human readable form. So this is like very difficult for us to understand, because these are like numbers. We are not good with numbers that much. But if I do time.ctime, and if I execute this, now see, you are getting a proper formatted string. So it's like Sunday, March, and it's like 5th March, Sunday, and this is the time and this is the date. So it's like a human readable format, right? Easier to understand. Also, we can do one thing, like time.ctime, we can also pass an argument in time.ctime that should be in seconds. Okay, for example, if I give 0 over here, it is giving us the epoch timestamp. So for example, if I do time.ctime and if I pass 0, so it printed out the epoch timestamp. Fine. I don't know why it is showing 5:30 over here. As per my knowledge, it is midnight, so it should be 0 zeros all over here in the time, but I don't know why it is showing 5:30 over here. So time.c time, it returns today's time, right? If I that's what I have shown you over here. It returns today's time. But if I pass out if I pass out 0 inside of it, so it is going to compute time from the epoch timestamp. Let's make this thing a little bit clear. So for example, this 0 is in like number of seconds that I want to pass. Okay. So if I do time.time, so this is the number of seconds that has been passed, right? From the epoch timestamp till today, today's date and today's time. Now, if I pass this number of seconds inside my time.c time, let's see if I pass time.c time, and if I pass this particular number of seconds, so we should be getting today's date, today's time, and see it's 12:54 for this particular seconds. Okay. So time.c time prints out the time in proper formatting. Okay. And if we pass any kind of arguments inside the time.c time, it is going to append like this many number of seconds to the epoch timestamp. So like the epoch timestamp happened at 0. Okay. And it's going to add this many number of seconds into it, right? And if we add this, we are going to get the same number. Okay. And this is today's date. So for example, if I do time.c time, and if I give 1 second, so you can see it is 1 second over here. Now if I give maybe 10 seconds, so you can see it added this particular 10 over here. Fine. Now let's suppose if we want to pass one day, like if we want to elapse one day, so we have to pass the number of seconds. So how many seconds are there in one day? So like in one day we are having 24 hours. So 24 hours has, like for every hour I have to find out the number of minutes into 60, and for every minute I have to calculate the number of seconds, again 60. So if I do shift and enter, you can see it's 2nd January. So if I add this many number of seconds to the epoch timestamp, I get out this particular result. Okay. So I hope I was able to explain this thing properly and you guys understood it. So I will again repeat once more. So if I do time.c time, it's going to print out today's time. Fine. If I pass any argument, it takes arguments in form of number of seconds. So if I pass any argument in terms of seconds, right, it's going to add that number of seconds to the epoch timestamp and return us an output. So for this particular result, what it did, so 0 is the epoch timestamp, right? 0 is the epoch timestamp, and if we add anything, if we add any number of seconds, like 0 seconds, okay, it's going to return us the particular time that we want. In return time and date, I should say return date and time. So just remember this thing. Okay. So for example, when I did this for this example, so epoch timestamp is 0. Now here I calculated 24 into 60 into 60. So it returned a particular date and time. So it returned us 2nd Jan 1970. Fine. And in our case, it returned 5:30,00. So this is what I am trying to explain you. So just remember, there is a module called as ctime, using which we can get a proper human readable date format. Now the next thing that I want to speak about is time dot sleep. So if I do time dot sleep, and if I pass an argument maybe 5, so what it does is it waits for 5 seconds. So time dot sleep takes 5, like time dot sleep takes an argument in seconds. So it's going to wait for that many number of seconds. For example, if I try to print out something for I in range 5, and if I am printing I, right, maybe I can give 1 comma 6, and if I want to print I and I'm giving time dot sleep 5, so see what is happening. Maybe instead of 5, let me give it as 2. So see, 1, 2. So after 2 seconds, it is printing the next element. So it printed out 1, it waited for 2 seconds, it printed out 2, again it waited for 2 seconds, it printed out 3, again it waited for 2 seconds, it printed out 4, again it waited for 2 seconds and it printed out 5. So time dot sleep helps us to delay our execution. So if instead of giving 2, if I give 1, so if I do shift enter, so it printed out 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. You can see there is a delay, and the delay is happening only because of time dot sleep functionality. And one thing I want to mention you guys, so anytime we are doing time dot time or time dot c time, it is taking the information from our system time, right? So it is like it's not looking for any internet data or anything. It's time dot time, it is going to look for our system time, and then it's going to compute this, right? So it has the information of the epoch time, okay, and it is going to get the current date and time from our system time and return output. So just make sure that your date and time in your system is correct. So generally, if you take a very close look, so if I do time dot time, right, so time dot time, it returns us data in this particular format. In this example also you can see, like if I copy this whole thing and if I paste it over here, okay, so you can see time dot time is returning data in this particular format, okay, fine. So how we can ensure that it is at least readable by us, okay? So for example, you can see it is returning data in this format, like we have a higher precision, and here also it returned data in this particular format, so we have a higher precision, right? So obviously we don't need this many number of digits in the decimal. So how we can do it, like how we can return only few decimal points? So generally with time module we also use the round function. So for example, if I want to explain you, if I do round and if I give this start time over here, and here also for the end time, if I do round and if I change this, here also if I do round and if I change this, and let me also put seconds everywhere so that it is easier for you guys to understand. So if I give seconds over here and seconds over here and I execute them, so you can see now it is showing start time in an integer format, end time in an integer format, and see 5 seconds has been elapsed. So don't you think this is much better than what it was showing over here, right? Much better, much readable. But for example, if you want some level of precision, so you can just mention the number of decimal points you want. For example, I want 2 decimal points everywhere, so I will just put a comma and 2, and now if I execute, okay, my bad, it should be inside this, it should be inside. Now if I execute, see there are 2 decimal points in the start time 2 decimal points in the end time and 2 decimal points in the total time that has been taken. So this is quite good, right? This is quite good. So something just came up in my mind, even I have not executed this. And for example, you know about C time, right? Time dot C time. So if I do time dot C time 0, if I get this output, so I am getting something like this. Now if I do time dot C time, I'm getting something like this. So this is the epoch time, this is the today's time. Okay. So if I pass time dot time, both will work the same way. Okay, this both will work the same way. I hope I am able to make you understand this functionality, and this both are going to return the same thing. Only a minor difference in seconds, because obviously seconds are running continuously, but still we are able to, I was able to accurately get the number of seconds over here and here. So this both are doing the same thing. Fine. So it might come up in your mind, if we have already a human readable format, why can't we do any kind of operations, numeric operations over here? So it came up in my mind. So let me just do it, and let's see are we able to do it or not. So if I do time dot C time, time dot time minus time dot C time 0, is it going to give us a result or not? If I do 0 and if I do shift and enter, yeah, because this both are returning a string data. So definitely we can't do this. We can't do this, obviously. So I wanted to show you that we have to use time dot time, because this returns an integer, and obviously we can do any kind of operations using the integers. But this format, time dot C time, it is returning a string format. So definitely we can do any kind of operations over here. So if you want to do any kind of operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, there is another function called as time delta, and I will take a look, like we will take a look in the upcoming videos. But this is something that I wanted to show you. So I hope I was able to make you understand, and I tried my level best to make you understand this one, like this, how this, what does C time 0 means, and what does this C time, this particular number of second means. Okay, so I hope I was able to make you understand. If you did, please do press that like button, and thank you for watching. I am going to see you in an awesome upcoming programming video.